Okay, so this is pretty much a practice run for a speech that I want to give tomorrow night at an event that will be at work tomorrow. So we're entering into the great American holiday of Thanksgiving. And the concept of an annual Thanksgiving Day to certain people seems to be rather insufficient. I often hear people from my own tradition say, we say 3 times a day in our prayers. We render our thanksgiving unto thee, Lord, our God and God of our ancestors. And so therefore, why do we need a special day? After all, the very name, I come from the Jewish tradition, and the very name Judaism, comes from the root that we find in the book of Genesis. When Leah gave birth to Judah, she said, Zois hapam oida es Hashem, al ken korashma Yehuda. At this time I rendered my thanksgiving unto the Lord, and therefore she called his name Judah. And so the name Judah indicates the name of thanksgiving, and therefore Judaism, which come from the name Judah, are in terms of thanksgiving. However, that being said, we, again in our tradition, remember the Exodus every day, twice a day, but we have Passover set aside to remember the Exodus. We're commanded to remember what happened at Mount Sinai every day. And so too, we have a holiday of Pentecost to focus on that once a year and so forth. And so it's not strange to set aside a day for Thanksgiving. And the truth of the matter is that the very fact that this country saw fit to establish a day to render thanksgiving unto the Creator for His divine providence over us shows the religious foundations of this country and the theological underpinnings, and yet a level of tolerance and respect for different traditions. But secular scholars often look in the world of religion and in other aspects of world cultures at 2 concepts, mythos and logos. And seeing them both as equally, Karen Armstrong mentions that they are both seen as equally as resources for truth. And we're probably familiar with the mythos of Thanksgiving. The first Thanksgiving, the Pilgrims, even though there were other Thanksgiving celebrations in the North American continent made by European settlers of various backgrounds, but certainly the majority of our mythos goes back to that event in Massachusetts. But the truth is the logos is quite later, much later. Washington did one time establish a National Day of Thanksgiving, as did a few other presidents, but it never became an annual tradition until 1863, and I think that's important. That's directly at the times of sorrow that we have to focus more on Thanksgiving. When things are not going our way, that's when we have to give thanks. And interestingly, history goes on that it actually became a national holiday legally by an act of Congress in 1941. And so although it had been traditionally celebrated for 78 years annually, the development of it into a binding legal aspect came just as we were leaving the Great Depression, and it was celebrated legally a few weeks before Pearl Harbor, while Europe was embroiled already in war and America was entered into it.